All right, hello. Welcome back, and we continue today with what we started last time. And if you remember, we were trying to design an application that is going to y- collect the information about the CPUs or the number of CPUs that we have in our machine, and try to use that information to run an MPI-based Variogram modeling module that I made. And in the end, what we want to do is we want to uh, gather all the experimental values or gather the experimental variable display with the fitted model. And we started last time with the interface, how, for example, we can make it so that when you have a user working on your application, he can just uh, see the number of CPUs on the interface, and he can also have the option of changing the number of CPUs that he's trying to use. But we made it so that he can't use up to a certain value. So it's like we set the software to use, I think, at max 80% of that CPU count. I think that's what we did. That's why we were using 9 as the seal for that value. If I remember correctly. And what we were doing, or what we were trying to do next, is we wanted to have like a part of the application that is going to read this specific file over here, right? Because this is where we have the experimental values. I was just going to do it, but then I remember that I promised I will show you how I do it. So I stopped at some point so that we can come back and do it together. But something I said we need before we can do anything else was package, and I can show you what I meant by that. What can I do here? Actually, I can comment all this. I'll explain everything in a moment. Just give me a sec to comment this, and we only want to see the debug up there. Okay. So I think right now, if I run the code, everything should be, you will see something different, and that's what I want to explain before we do anything else. Well, you will see two different things, and let me just run it. Yep, it's running. So this is new, right? This is new, and this is also new. So what you see here, it's going to come again after 6 seconds. 6 seconds, and then it's 6,000 milliseconds. So it's 6 seconds. Just like yeah, it's done. Done. Yeah, it's 6 seconds, not 6,000 seconds. So now I can explain what will happen. Before I close the application, I was talking about a specific library that I use to plot things, right? Like to display a curve, display a plot, or even display a map. This is a specific package that I use. It's QCustomPlot. The reason why I didn't want to spend time showing you how it works, because you already have documentation online. So I feel like if I do it again, it's just kind of repeating everything that you can have online. So Google it, custom plot. It's very simple to use and very useful package. So that's what I use most of the time for plotting stuff or displaying maps and stuff like that. But when I have to do something where I need more freedom, I use the embedded libraries that I have in QtCreator. But when I feel like it's just a simple plot that I want to display, I use this one. So the other thing that is new is the execution that you see behind here. So now remember, when I was talking about this in the beginning, I said what we want to do is we want to set up the application so that after a specific amount of time, it will check the MPI-based module to see if it's done computing the experimental and fitted diagram, so that we can grab the data and display the results, right? So to do it, we need something. We talked about, or I talked about, two ways of doing it. The first would be just to use an open while loop. So it's going to be like while true. So it will run forever unless you have a specific condition that is satisfied. Then you use break to stop the loop. That is one idea, but the problem with that is you might end up having a frozen application or even a frozen software and frozen laptop just because that loop is running forever. So it's a possibility, but not necessarily a good one. The other one that I'm using here now, it's basically I take advantage of the functionality or the ability that I have from QtCreator, and there is an object or a class. No, there is a class called QTimer. If I create an object from that class, I can use a signal that says after 6 seconds, do something. And so I can take that signal and connect it to a specific function, which means now when I start my application, that function is like the signal and the function are already connected, right? And the object is now the one that is sending that signal after 6 seconds. And so after 6 seconds, the timer will send a signal. The signal is connected to a slot or a function that my application will emit, and so it means it will run that command, and this is the output of that command here. So that's what we're trying to use here. And so the way we do it, if you come back now, I hope it makes sense. This is over here. I can show you. I'm not even using this signal anymore. I'm just using the signal for this timer directly. So I have this function to collect the output, so to collect the results. And so over here, I have everything that I'm trying to execute after 6 seconds. So let me just, it's millisecond. And now, the idea here is when you run the script, when you run your MPI, I think this is the one that I have to check. Yeah. When I'm running that MPI module, if I create this file, it means that I'm already done with everything else, which means I already have, what is it? I already have these on that output file, right? So an easiest way just to check if I am done is I can, let me just make sure I have an MPI value somewhere. Because if you don't have the body here, then you can just go whoop, and then reduce, then experimental. Oh, this is going to be interesting to test, okay? Because I'm just realizing I don't have MPI barrier somewhere so that I can wait for all my P processes to finish something before we move forward, which means I can probably end up here while I have another process running something. And this is usually not good. This is usually not good. Let me just check real quick again, because I think, yeah, I removed the broadcasting. It's not necessary because I'm reading the data, and I don't think I need to do any broadcasting since it's not these that I want to, but it's something else. And over here, yeah, there is no MPI. I have the reduce here to collect everything back, but I think normally if I want to use the MPI, this is where I would put it just right over here, right after reduce, so that I will the module will ask my machine to wait until all those P processes are done before continuing down here. So I feel like I feel like we don't have anything missing, otherwise you will have empty values in your V and H. But we will just see. I just noticed now. I noticed that I have this missing component, so we will see how it goes. But basically, if I have this file ready for action, so ready for reading or writing, it means that I have these already in my file, so it should be good. Now back to QtCreator. So now this is why in this loop, the first thing I want to check is this out.b. So if this can be open as a binary file for reading, and the way you do it is you create an if string. If I want to read if string, if I want to write of string. So if I can read inside, then I'm good. If I cannot, then I'm not good. If I can read inside, then I will create another file, or I will need another file to read this output text file, right? And so what I'm trying to do now is I want to make a condition where this file has so many lines before you actually get to the point where you have data you want to collect. And so what I'm trying to do is I want to see if I have reached that line where I want to start collecting the data. So I am creating this bool now just to use it as a flag. So I will call it ready to go. And I will initialize it false because we're not ready yet. So now when I'm reading a line, what I try to do here is this right now that I'm about to do is very bad. If you can avoid doing it, I will recommend you avoid doing it because this is just very bad. Okay, this is very bad. Yeah. But basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to compare my line with a specific string, and I want to use this. But the reason why I say this is very bad is because you have functions normally that you can use to compare these two together, and strings can be sometimes misleading. Hopefully QtCreator will say something about this comparison that I'm trying to do. Hopefully it will. But yeah, strings can be sometimes misleading, so you have to be very careful when you do these things. So if we are in here, I want ready to go to be true. Now, question. If ready to go is true, what do you want to do? You want to read the next line. But what I can do is such that, it, you know, if it's true, then I do continue. I mean, if this condition is good, like true, then ready to go is true, and I can do something else. But doing something else means I will have to read again in this exact same file. So what I do here is I will hit continue just to tell my machine to move to the, move ahead in this loop. And when I'm done here, I will say if read to go. I don't even need to do this. If read to go, then it means that this is the line that I want to start reading. So something else, do I? No, I don't need it. It's fine. You don't even need. I was thinking about collecting it into a CSV, but yeah, for now we're good. We just want the values. So I will go ahead and make a QString list. I love them. They're so easy to manipulate, so I love them. And I will split that line that I just read using this, because you remember the separator is that. And so now I have two values, so I can push back. Oh, I created these variables just to collect the data that we need. So now we can say h flag is the string that I just read at the first position, and I will change it to a double. And VLAG. Who the heck is this guy? Oh, it's VVal. Okay, so and VVal is going to be the second, so the one that is position 1. So it's going to be a string position 1, then change it to a double, and good. Now remember, there is something that you need to check, right? If this is always true, then we would always have to read something. But there is something else that we need to check here, which is the moment to stop. Like, when do you want to stop? Now I can do it after this, or I can do it before this, but if I do it after, I will end up having a problem, because if I do it after, it means the last time I was using this guy, it was true. So now I have a new line that I'm reading, and do I have a line of values, or do I have just a line of, I don't know, displaying a statement or displaying something that we need to know? Let me just close this. I feel like it's still running. It's a super. So I think I should put it somewhere here. And what I'm trying to get now is, where is that file again? Let me just open the file and show you what I'm trying to get now. So if you open this, when we are here, we will start collecting the data all the way down to this line where we have the actual execution running time for computing this experimental variogram. So I want to stop right here, which means I want to collect this line. And do I want to collect it here? No, I don't, because over here I have the output, but I don't have the actual string that I want to double check. So you come back, you look at your code, and yes, there is an end over here, but how do you and so this is where you have to be very careful. And so instead of comparing them the way I was doing before, I will use something else. So what I will do is I will use this to say if the new line start with this, then stop. And you can do it with QtCreator just so easily. So we will do it now. Let me just put the comments on it so I can have it back when I use it. So you come back here and you do something like, if line red, it's a Q string, so I can compare, or I can say start with, yes, start with, and you put that, what the heck? If this is true, then what do? You just do ready to go. Now is false, and you don't even need to do our. Maybe I can break. What do you think? Should I break it? Let's do this. Let's do it this way. This is very bad now, because I'm just saying, because I don't have the MPI barrier somewhere, you see, I'm just feeling like it, maybe in my machine it will work, but if I give it to someone else and he is running more than, let's say, 20 processes and he's not using the MPI barrier, I feel like you can have some lines in between, right? You can have some lines in between the values and just disturb the entire thing. So yeah, we will try it now, see how it goes, and I'll probably have to go back and put the MPI barrier just to make sure I don't have that type of behavior. Or I can remove everything else that I don't need and just keep these two, like the first tag and the last tag. We will see. But yeah, let's just break the loop if we are in here. Now, I feel like I'm ready to go. Like I feel like I have something that I can run and check if I have the values. By the way, I already have the output, which means I probably have this out bin already, so should be good. If we want to check this, now, something else that I need to do. I need to populate this Variogram model. The easiest way for this would be I'll do it manually just to avoid typing stuff for no reason. So append, I will put the seal, which is model. Yeah, I think the first one is the seal or the nugget. No, this is the nugget. The second one is the seal. The third one is the range. And the last one is the model type. It's supposed to be an integer, but what we will do, what we will do is basically we will put that value as a double in this object, and then when we want to use that value, we can change it into an integer just by applying the into parentheses to that value. So we should be really good. Now what I want to do is I just want to display them to make sure I actually have them. So in the end, when I'm done with all this, I want to do something like QtCreator. Just show me my parameters, right? Then maybe also show me the lag distance. That should be h lag. Why are you h lag? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. And I want to see if I have the Variogram. So and that should be v value. Yes. So if everything is correct, this is gonna work. But this is programming, so sometimes you think it's fine, but it's just not fine. So now because I have those files, I should be good. Now let's see. I'm kind of nervous. Okay, let me just do. 6 seconds, and then we will see if, well, we can read the parameters definitely, but we can't read in the file what is happening. Let me stop and go back. That's what I said. Usually you're kind of nervous when you do these things. This, I think I know why it's like that. You can come back and I will explain this a little bit before we continue with this. The Variogram model is actually this, so probably want to copy this. So I created something which is like in C and C++, I think, when you want to switch, when you want to use the it's not really, I don't like to call it command. It's a structure to control the state of a variable. So I think it's a conditional statement. Yeah, that's how they call it. I was going to say something which is basically using the French terminology to translate it into English, but that was a bad idea. In French, we call it structure de control. So it's basically like you have a variable that you want to check. And actually, in French, it's not just structure the control because it's that kind of thing, but it's actually like a switch, really a switch. Like in French, it's structure de branchement. So you have one variable, and that variable can have this value, this value, this value, this value, or this value. And so what you do now is, if I have this, I will just connect my code to the execution related to this. So that's why they call it branchement, because it's like, you plug your charger into the outlet. So anyway, I will probably have to copy this just so that I can use it. I can put it anywhere here and I should be able to use it because this one is included in the other file. It's my guess. And I think I'm guessing right. Yes. Which means when I read this, I can call it the Variogram type. Should be able to call it Variogram type. Why are you not recognizing this as the Variogram type? This is weird. Boy, this is weird. Oh, okay, we're good. Now I can read it and I will display it, and when we display it, it's going to show you the actual value. So I think this was 0. So that's why you see it like this. Anyway, this is the nugget. I believe this is the seal. Let me see if I'm right. Yes, and this is the range. So I was right. So now the question is, why are we unable to read the other values? Question mark. To answer that question, we have to come down here, and actually let me also do something very important, because I just realized I have like this command will just push values in those vectors again and again and again and again, which is very bad. So you probably want to do something like this and clear each of these before you do anything else with them. So I'm gonna do clear and where are you going? Do clear, and I'm also gonna clear the first one, and so that way it's not gonna try to push things into the vector with previous values, and so it will empty those vectors first before pushing anything else inside. Good. Something else that we need to do is to change this into an integer. And this is actually fun. So the value that is supposed to be here is supposed to be a double. But then I want to change this. Oh, wait, no. Ooh, wait, yeah, now I see. Okay. Okay. Maybe actually, without even using the enumeration, I could have been able to. This is just so bad. Oh my gosh. What was I thinking? And I don't know why. We have 3, and then I want to access the 4th one. You allow me to access it. How in the, like, what? This was not supposed to happen. What do you know? Anyway. The next thing, what do you think? Maybe because of that? No, I don't think so, because this one is running back down here, so it means everything else looks okay. But what if, what if it's because of this, right? I think so. If the thing is false, so which means if I'm reading, but this is a specific command. If line read starts with that one, then it's false. So it's supposed to start with this at some point, and it's true. Then we read this. So, you know, we do this, then we move to the next line, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And my question now is, why are we not doing it? Also, if you're not at the end, this is how I understand this one. So if you're not at the end of this file, read the line, check if that line is this. If it's the case, oh, maybe you think, oh, maybe this is not, so maybe we don't have this command. So let me see, do we have this? We here. Yeah, let's go and run it again. Ah, why are you not working? Oh yeah, we have to wait 6 seconds. Still not. Still. Yeah, the model is Gaussian, dude. Not a good news. Not a good news. Anyway, yeah, it's not reading that far. Do you think it's not reading because we have it open somewhere here? It might be that's the case. Let me close it and see if that was the problem. Because it's reading the other one, it's not reading this one, and I don't know why. So let's see. Still not. Still not. So it's reading the first one where we have the output, but it's not reading the out. Okay. Now, so it's not even getting in this. What if, I don't know if this is what is happening, but this command is going to be executed after 6 seconds. What if we need to stop when we enter this, right? So when we enter this, maybe we need to stop. And if we can't get in here, we start it over. Let me try. Because I don't know. Even, nah, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to me because still it's a good idea, because I feel like if we do stop it, yes, if we stop the timer, then we're not sending that signal anymore. And if we start it over here, we're not. There is no one that we're disturbing, so we're good. But let's try. The reason why I feel like this is not going to change anything is because it was still reading that first file. So let's see if this is where we had an issue. 6 seconds, 6 seconds, 6 seconds, 6 seconds. Yes, see, and now the problem is it will stop because we went into that, and so now it will stop. So it will not check again, which is not necessarily good. No, I think it's good though, because if that file doesn't exist, then it will come to this one and start over again. So it will still send the signal after 6 seconds. Oh, okay. Now, let's go over this one carefully. What is happening here? delete this into line red. You compare line red to this. So what if we do the same comparison? So instead of doing we just start with because I just have might just be that this is why it's not working. And if this is the case, then I think it will just join my advice in the beginning where I said you should be very careful when you use that type of comparison. Anyway, let's try again and see if now it's working. My fingers. Yeah. See? So, important lesson for you, very, very important lesson for you. Never, oh Almighty God, never use the comparison the way I was doing in the beginning. So, yeah, I think it's because I'm using QtCreator. So when I do it, like, I've done it before and it works, but the Q string and the string from the standard libraries, they have different functionalities and also different ways of compiling the data that you are passing into the variable. So yeah, anyway, now it works. So I mean, now I have the values, which means next step we can now plot the graph. I think we can stop here and recover, like go into the next episode.